Hello guys, D-Rays Mathematics here. Today we're going to see how to evaluate some limits using the conjugate method. But before we start, it's a good idea that we take a little revision how to FOIL this. The multiplication of difference of two numbers by their sum, which is simply the difference of two squares. So a minus b times a plus b is a squared minus b squared. You can go through the FOIL in here and you're gonna get this. We're gonna be using this all the time in this method. So let's start with this limit. The limit when x approaches 4 of this one, if we plug in 4, we get 8 plus 1, which is 9. Square root of 9 is 3, minus 3 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0, which is indeterminate form. So there is no use plugging in 4, so we're gonna proceed by multiplying by the conjugate. And it's always good to choose the conjugate when the square root is implied. If we multiply by the conjugate of this, it's gonna be x squared minus 16, and it's gonna give us 0 anyway. So it's the limit when x approaches 4, and I'm gonna multiply by the conjugate of this. The conjugate of a minus b is a plus b. The conjugate of this is this one plus this one. Is the square root of 2x plus 1 minus 3 times square root of 2x plus 1 plus 3. And to keep the same number you're given at the beginning, you're going to multiply by the same number here. So x minus 4 got to be multiplied by this. Square root of 2x plus 1 plus 3. So it's the limit when x approaches 4. This, if we apply this rule, we got this squared minus this squared. This squared is going to be 2x plus 1 because the square root and the square will cancel, given that this is positive, minus 3 squared, which is 9. And I'm gonna keep this like this. There's no need to FOIL. X minus 4 times square root of 2x plus 1 plus 3. We get here plus 1 minus 9, which is minus 8, and the rest is going to be the same. It's 2x minus 8, x minus 4, square root of 2x plus 1 plus 3. So it's the limit when x approaches 4. Here I'm going to factor out a 2 so that I get an x minus 4 at the top and at the bottom. So it's 2 factored to x minus 4 over x minus 4 times the square root of 2x plus 1 plus 3. And this will cancel out. and we're left with 2 over square root of 2x plus 1 plus 3. So here I forgot the limit for the limit when x approaches 4. So now we simply have to plug in 4 and it's gonna be okay, because there is gonna be no undefined form. So it's 2 over 2 times 4 plus 1 under the square root plus 3, which is 2 over 9 plus 1 is 3 plus 3, 8 plus 1 is 9, the square root of 9 is 3 plus 3, which is 2 over 6. And if we reduce this fraction, we get 1 over 3. Now let's proceed with the second limit of 2 of this. So we got to multiply by the conjugate, but is it the conjugate of the numerator or the denominator? We can see that both of them implies square root, and we don't forget always to, if we plug 2 here, we got 9, square root of 9 minus is 3 minus 3 is 0, 6 minus 2 is 4, square root of 4 is 2 minus 2 is 0, 0 over 0. So definitely it's going to be the conjugate. But since they both imply the square roots, I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of both of them. So it's going to be a little bit long, but we got to concentrate. X approaches 2. So the conjugate of this is this plus this. It's the square root of 11 minus x minus 3 times square root of 11 minus x plus 3. And this one by its conjugate, it's square root of 6 minus x minus 2 times square root of 6 minus x plus 2. But to keep the same value as the beginning, here I multiplied by this, and the top, the same number gotta appear in the bottom, and the same number is gonna appear at the top. So here, this one, square root of 6 minus x plus 2. So if I would to simplify, it's like I've done nothing. And here, minus x plus 3. So you can see here that we got this rule. So it's the limit when x approaches 2. Foiling this, we got this squared minus this squared, which is 11 minus x minus this squared is 9 times this, and here the same rule, it's this squared minus this squared, it's 6 minus x minus 2 squared, which is 4. times this plus 3. We got to simplify here. 11 minus 9, 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. So it's the limit when x approaches 2 of 2 minus x, this one, here it's 2 minus x times this one. So this will cancel and we're left with this. Now if we plug in 2, we would have no problem. It's gonna be 6 minus 2 is 4, square root is 2 plus 2 is 4. This is good, and here 11 minus 2 is 9, square root is 3 plus 3 is 6. So it's square root of 6 minus 2 plus 2. Square root of 11 minus 2 plus 3. And it is 4, the square root of 4 is 2 plus 2. Here's 9, square root is 3 plus 3, which is 4 over 6, or 2/3. And this is how to evaluate this kind of limits. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.